Thank you. It's an honor to be here. It's always wonderful to come in from New York into DC into a room like this. I remember 10 years ago, Joe Wilson, very small room. Not because of you, but because this great award was growing. And I think we thought at that time in the depths of the Bush era that it was the depths of the Bush era. Now we know this is an award that is enduring and is needed now more than ever, and it is an honor to be in a room with fearless dreamers, with iconoclasts, with extraordinarily patient people like Seth Rosenfeld, and to understand that we must respect, not convict, try, harass whistleblowers, and that this honor goes to people who never stop, who are relentless in that. I am here to introduce the documentary film, The Invisible War. You have copies on your table. Today, an American female soldier in a war zone is more likely to be raped by a fellow soldier than killed by enemy fire. 1 in 5 of all active duty female soldiers are sexually assaulted. Every year, 19,000 servicemen and women are sexually assaulted. In 2011 alone, the Department of Defense estimated there were 22,800 violent sex crimes in the military. Since 2006, more than 95,000 service members have been sexually assaulted. These numbers are so staggering as to almost numb us. But the statistics don't tell us the story. It is this extraordinary film, 2012 Oscar-nominated documentary, The Invisible War. In it, director Kirby Dick and producer Amy Ziering set out to change that, to give us the stories, the human voices, giving voice to survivors of military sexual assault. And in their searing, heartbreaking stories of these brave women survivors, these truth tellers are creating real change. The film exposes a military culture rife with misogyny and sexual harassment, an institution where rape is an epidemic, and it lays bare the stark reality sexual assault survivors face. Reporting these traumatic crimes often leads to even more trauma. They're ignored, interrogated, or ridiculed. These claims are used against them. We learn that victims must sometimes report a rape to their own rapist. We see the unmarried victim raped by married men can be charged with adultery while the rapist goes free. And over we witness the truth of what Susan Brownmiller wrote so many years ago. Rape, quote, is not a crime of lust, but of violence and power. And the result is a military system that makes it easier to rape and to get away with it. Let me just tell you, because I think often we hear extraordinary stories here, but we don't see those leading in as quick a way. You heard the great story of what FOIA time is. You got to mark it in dog years. But in this case, this film has already been a powerful force for change. On April 10th, 2012, just 2 days after watching The Invisible War, then Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta ordered that all sexual assault cases be handled by senior officers, which effectively ended the practice of commanders adjudicating these cases from within their own units. Only 1 week later, in one of the first official statements ever made by a president on the issue of sexual assault in the military, President Obama called for sexual assault to be thoroughly investigated and for offenders to be held accountable. And in November 2012, after 7 years of fighting, Senator Barbara Boxer successfully pushed through an amendment that would prevent the armed forces from granting waivers to military candidates with a sex crime on their record. Senator Boxer who we had wished could be here today, credits the film for the amendment's passage. Earlier this year, during his confirmation hearings, Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel, yes, affirmed that he had seen The Invisible War. And the film was mentioned 8 times in recent Senate hearings on sexual assault in the military. So we've seen progress. We've seen progress in shorter time span than is often the case in this city. And I don't mean to demean this city because it has people like you sitting in this room, but it is a city where courage and conscience and fast pace in terms of building courage and conscience has not been the case. So we have seen progress, but as we all know in this room, you got to build on that progress. And how do you build? We must insist that the investigation and prosecution of these crimes, sex crimes, be completely removed from the military chain of command. Instead, these decisions should be made by military prosecutors trained in sexual assault investigations who cannot be influenced by senior officers in the chain of command. It is common sense. Also, equality in short supply these days. So the film is just the beginning, and it's time for all of us to fight on behalf of those who have fought for us, for the patriots in this film, sisters and brothers, and their hundreds of thousands of fellow service women and men who have endured sexual assault. So let us take a look at a clip from this year's Ridenhour Documentary Film Prize winner, The Invisible War.